The moment you stop chasing, everything shifts, and not in the way people expect. At first, it feels quiet, almost invisible, like nothing has changed at all. But beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. The dynamic you once had with people begins to break, because you are no longer playing the role they became comfortable with. You are no longer the one reaching out first, over-explaining your intentions, or trying to prove your value. And when that version of you disappears, even subtly, people feel it immediately. They might not understand it, but they notice the absence. That's the paradox. The less you try to be seen, the more visible you become. Most people don't realize how much of their relationships are built on imbalance. One person gives more time, more attention, more energy, while the other simply receives. It's not always intentional, but it becomes a pattern. The one who chases slowly loses their sense of control, because their emotional state becomes tied to someone else's responses. A delayed reply feels heavy. A lack of attention feels personal. And without noticing it, they begin to orbit around another person's approval. But the moment you step out of that orbit, everything changes. You're no longer reacting, no longer waiting, no longer chasing. You become still. And that stillness is what disrupts everything. This is something the Stoics understood deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. And when you truly live by that, your behavior changes without needing to announce it. You stop trying to control how others see you. You stop trying to force outcomes. And instead, you begin to operate from a place of self-respect. That shift alone is enough to alter how people respond to you. Because now they are no longer interacting with someone who seeks validation, but someone who is grounded within themselves. When you stop chasing, the first reaction you'll notice from people is confusion. They are used to your patterns, your consistency, your availability. When that changes, even slightly, it creates uncertainty. They might wonder if something is wrong, if you're upset, or if they've done something to push you away. But the truth is, nothing is wrong. You've simply stopped overextending yourself. And that small change feels much bigger to them than it does to you. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. They feel the discomfort of that shift and rush to fix it, returning to their old habits just to restore familiarity. But if you hold your ground, something deeper begins to happen. Curiosity replaces confusion. People start paying more attention to you, not because you demanded it, but because you withdrew your constant presence. Human psychology is wired this way. We value what is scarce, and we overlook what is always available. When you were always there, your presence became predictable. But now, there's space. And in that space, people begin to think about you more. They notice your absence. They question your silence. And ironically, they begin to invest the attention that you once gave them so freely. If you felt this shift in your own life, drop a comment below and say, "I stopped chasing." I want to see who's actually living this, not just hearing it. And if this is hitting you so far, leave a like. It helps push this message out to more people who need it and builds this kind of mindset into something bigger than just one video. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Not everyone reacts positively. Some people will resist the change. They might try to pull you back into your old role, testing your boundaries, reaching out inconsistently, or giving just enough attention to see if you'll fall back into chasing. This is where your discipline is tested. Because stopping the chase isn't just about what you do once, it's about what you refuse to return to. The Stoics believed that self-control is the highest form of strength. And this is exactly what they meant. Anyone can act differently for a moment, but very few can maintain it when faced with emotional pressure. As you stay consistent, something else begins to happen. Respect starts to grow, not always openly, but quietly. People begin to recognize that you are no longer easy to access, no longer someone who can be taken for granted. And with that comes a shift in how they treat you. Conversations become more intentional. Interactions become more balanced. And the dynamic that once placed you in a position of seeking is replaced with something far more equal. This doesn't happen overnight, but it happens inevitably if you remain steady. At this point in your journey, it's worth asking yourself something honestly. Were you chasing because you truly valued those people? Or because you feared losing them? That distinction matters more than most realize. Because when your actions are driven by fear, you will always overgive, always over-explain, always overextend. But when your actions come from self-respect, you give without losing yourself in the process. And that is the balance most people never reach. If you're getting value from this, take a second to subscribe. Not because you have to, but because this channel is about building a mindset that most people never develop. And if that's something you want to strengthen, you'll want to stay around for what's coming next. Now let's go deeper. When you stop chasing, you also start to see people more clearly. Without the distraction of trying to win their approval, you begin to notice their effort, their consistency, their intentions. You see who reaches out, who reciprocates, who only shows up when it benefits them. And this clarity can be uncomfortable because it forces you to confront the truth about certain relationships. But it's also freeing because now you're no longer guessing where you stand. You're observing it. Epictetus taught that we should not attach our well-being to things outside of our control, and people fall into that category more than anything else. You cannot control how someone feels about you, how often they think of you, or how they choose to treat you. But you can control how much access they have to your time, your energy, and your attention. And when you begin to control that, your entire experience changes. The strongest shift, though, happens internally. When you stop chasing, you stop abandoning yourself. You stop placing your worth in someone else's hands. And over time, that builds something most people lack. A quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. You're no longer waiting for messages to feel valued. You're no longer analyzing every interaction. You simply exist in your own frame, and from that place, everything becomes lighter. And here's the truth most people won't say. Some people will drift away when you stop chasing. Not because you did something wrong, but because the only thing holding the connection together was your effort. And while that can feel like loss at first, it's actually clarity. Because anything that requires you to constantly prove your worth is not something that truly values you. And letting that go is not weakness, it's alignment. So if you're at that point right now where you're starting to pull back, starting to reclaim your energy, understand this. The reactions you're seeing are not random. They are a direct response to you stepping into a more grounded, self-respecting version of yourself. Some will respect it, some will question it, some will leave. But all of it is part of the process. Drop a comment below and tell me honestly. What changed in your life when you stopped chasing? I read more of these than you think, and it helps shape what we build here. In the end, the Stoics never taught people to withdraw from life. They taught them to withdraw from dependency, to stop chasing what cannot be controlled, and to focus instead on what can be mastered within. And when you do that, you don't lose people, you reveal them. You don't become distant, you become selective. And you don't end up alone, you end up surrounded by those who meet you where you stand, not where you used to chase.